We have breaking news out of Pennsylvania this hour. A judge has denied bail to the suspect accused in last week's shooting death of an American healthcare CEO.
It's completely out of touch and an insult to the intelligence of the American people and the lived experience.
This is the moment 26-year-old Luigi Mangione was escorted into court, yelling as police pulled him into the building. Mangione is charged with 1 count of murder, 2 counts of possession of a weapon, and possession of a forged document. For more on today's developments, we go live to the CBC's Sarah Galashan. So, Sarah, what's the latest on Mangione's court appearance?
Well, Andrew, as you said, reports from the courtroom are that he has now been officially denied bail and that 26-year-old Luigi Mangione, who is now charged with the murder of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson a week ago, that he is going to be fighting extradition to New York to face that and other related charges. He is currently being held at Huntington State Correctional Institution, that's in Pennsylvania, where he is being held facing lesser charges there. And we understand that that's where he's going to remain. He has been granted by the court 14 days in which to file what they call a habeas corpus. In other words, make his arguments against his extradition and imprisonment. Prosecutors as well have 30 days in which to grant or rather obtain a warrant from a governor to have him extradited to New York, whereas again he's facing the charges, among them all of them related to the murder of Brian Thompson, but among them the murder charge. And in those charging documents, which were the media were able to get access to earlier today, we learn a little bit about some of the evidence that they do intend to present or that they do have. And among that is surveillance footage obtained from a Manhattan hostel where they say their suspect in this shooting stayed, that there is video footage of that suspect wearing certain clothing, and we've seen those in images circulated by the police, leaving that hostel around 5:30 in the morning, an hour before this shooting occurred, and as well hostel records that they have that show that their suspect used a New Jersey identification with a specific name on it. And they say that upon arrest yesterday at that McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania, that Luigi Mangione had similar or the same identification on him, that it was fraudulent identification as well. And additionally, Andrew, we have heard authorities now talk about this manifesto, the 3-page document, handwritten, that they found Luigi Mangione carrying upon that arrest in Pennsylvania. 262 words, 3 pages. As I say, the gist of it, what we hear from authorities is that it blasts the health insurance industry in the United States, that it apologizes for any strife or trauma that was caused. There's a confession that he says he worked alone, but as well goes on to say that he felt it had to be done. Andrew?
And since we first learned about the suspect's identity, plenty of information has come out about who he is. What do we know?
I mean, well known and well liked by many of those who have known him throughout his life. He's 26 years old now, so still a relatively young man who we now understand comes from a wealthy upper-class background from Baltimore, a well-known family. The Mangiones, own 2 country clubs. The family well known for their charitable contributions. He is Ivy League educated, attending a prestigious school growing up, a private school, which he graduated from as valedictorian. And in that valedictorian address, urging his classmates to, he said, challenge the world. He participated in sports in school, soccer and track, according to those who knew him. He graduated university with a master's degree in computer science, and the NYPD have said that he worked as a data engineer. We know that he's lived in a few different states, Maryland, as well as in California, and most recently his address tracked to Honolulu, Hawaii, where we understand from those who shared accommodation with him that he worked remotely and that he lived with others who he was working with. And they recall as a roommate that he was friendly, that he talked about social issues. And one of those roommates in particular has spoken to the media talking about what he says was a a surfing accident that Mangione was involved in, and that he suffered a back trauma to his back. He called that injury, that back injury, traumatic for someone as young as he was. I want to play you a little bit more of what he said about that back injury.
I knew he was going to have a surgery, so earlier this year I checked in with him. He confirmed that he had surgery, and he sent me the x-rays. It looked heinous with just giant screws going into his spine. After that, he called me once. I didn't pick up. We kind of texted a little bit, but unfortunately, I feel terrible now. I wish I would have made more of an effort to communicate with him.
Now, others who say that they did try to make efforts to reach out to him also said that they lost touch. And among those trying to reach him, we understand his immediate family members were unable to contact him in the recent weeks that has led up to the shooting of Brian Thompson. Among his relatives, there's a state senator who has, on behalf of the family, issued a statement, and I won't read you it in its entirety, but essentially what it says is that the family is shocked and devastated, that they only know what they have read in the media, and that the news is devastating.